All right, hello, good morning. Um, yes, so we're back with Sandpack. We've been discussing a little bit, so we're dropping notebook support immediately. So uh, we're not gonna have this thing. So let's just drop that, and then we're rather gonna have, yeah. Let's see what we're gonna call these things now. Um, Okay, so we're going to implement VMs, but and to do that, we have to, let's see, let's just look at our drawing to kind of catch up on this. So, didn't I have some other drawings here? Oh, did I remove them? No, here they are. So we've landed on Sandpack using, instead of a template, it uses like a sandbox. And then the sandbox can be like a bundling type of experience. Like the environment is the bundler, or the environment is static, or the environment is a VM. But then the question is like, where does the actual... Well, this is the thing. Like this sandbox doesn't represent an environment directly. It rather represents a mode of running where I guess the more precise way to think of this is like, is it running locally? And if it's running locally, you can choose to run the static environment or the bundling environment. But it could also be running from a sandbox, a persisted sandbox, right? And then you can also choose to use the static environment or the bundling environment, but that's inferred by the sandbox that you've loaded. And then you have a VM, where a VM is more like a session. So instead of getting actual sandbox data, you get like a session. What I'm wondering though is, I'm wondering how we're gonna handle that. Like, cause we do have to, so I have this thing called like get sandbox or something, like an action of get sandbox. So if you just pass in an ID here, we're gonna go and grab that sandbox, and then, oh, I'm really, I've had vacation for a few days. My brain is not quite ready for this. I'm diving straight into this stuff. Oh my god. Okay, let's just push through it. But my brain is slow. Anyways, so we need to download the sandbox. But at that point, it's like, do we really need to download the sandbox if we know at the server level that it's a VM? Because then we just want to start a VM and return a session instead. But it messes up the API, because get sandbox then suddenly returns data or a session. I'm not sure if it's worth that, like saving that tiny piece of latency. And you might even like, yeah. And there's this other aspect of this. It's like, um, like what if you have an experience where you built this playground and you go to the ID of a sandbox, and you have the ID in the URL, and then you consume that ID, or maybe you even do some server rendering on the sandbox to like show UI around the actual Sandpack experience. And then you might as well like shove the files in there. And then this get sandbox action would rather be, well, it makes sense, because then it would rather consume the data you've already, like, you'd kind of rehydrate in the client. So that makes sense. Yeah, no, I think these actions does make sense. And I think we're gonna have like get sandbox, and we're gonna have start sandbox. So start sandbox is something that will be called internally when get sandbox display not displays, but has like a flag that indicates that it's a VM sandbox, which is currently just called v2. Anyways, we're gonna type this so we're gonna understand it better. But okay, so a sandbox can be like, this is the thing, it's a combination of persistence and environment. That's the tricky thing about this. So I'm trying to reason about like, what the hell should we call these things? And we shouldn't call them template, because what we're going to do instead, we're going to just have a property called template that's going to change the behavior of interacting with that sandbox. Because if it's a template, it expects that interaction with the code, like creating a file, saving a file, whatever it is going to require you to fork it and then continue working on your own version. That's what template means now. So then you kind of have these different, I think we're just going to call it like local and external. Like you have a local sandbox where you can choose an environment of static or bundler. And you have like files, external resources, main. With the bundler, you also have dependencies, dev dependencies, and main. Do you really have main here? So you have like a local static sandbox and local bundler sandbox. And then you have an external sandbox. And there is no environment for it because it's going to infer it from calling get sandbox. Yes, that's how it's going to work. Yeah, and then we have, oh, interesting. Well, there's a lot of stuff we need to figure out, but let's kind of, so we have a sandbox. We don't have it. And even if it's external, we can't guarantee like an active file or visible files. I guess we, like, does that even make sense? Because you don't know the exact. No, I don't think that makes sense. So I think a sandbox can be like local. Yeah, maybe this is actually much simpler now. So we're gonna change this to what? TypeScript server error. Maybe we should restart. Oh, like the first interaction after after vacation. You're interacting with code, and that's the kind of error you get. Oh my god. Local static. And then local bundler. Yeah, and I think we're actually gonna just call them that. So we have static bundler but then the environment for a sandbox is unknown. That's like inferred. So I'm just wondering, like, yeah, so we're definitely gonna do active file. Let's see, I'm gonna just remove this for now. So local bundler, local static, you can choose that stuff. And then maybe we're gonna do like type. Oh, did I remove it? No, there it is. Environment static. What I'm wondering is if we should have like type local. And then type, this is still type local, but the environment is the bundler. And then local static. What does this mean? This doesn't have, so this will be type external. Let's see, local sandbox, local bundler, sandbox, and then we have external sandbox. Does that make sense? So we have local static sandbox. Okay, so when we define these sandboxes, or like what we now call templates, we can use this. It's a type local. And that's gonna just bring up the environment. We're gonna read the files or write the files directly from this thing. And then we're gonna pass like dependencies and dev dependencies into the thingy. Into the actual environment, and then that's fine. And then we have external sandbox, which just takes an ID. The thing I'm wondering about is like you might also want to do like you just kind of want to keep a local storage version. Yeah, I'm wondering how would that work? Would you then would you fork it and then just create like a random UUID kind of thing? And then you would just grab the sandbox from your local store. Come on, Apple Music. Every time I see this, I'm saying I'm changing to Spotify. I never do. Yeah, and then so you would generate like a UUID, and then you would persist it in local storage. And you could have like a, yeah, whatever you want, like maybe a list of all the UUIDs you have in local storage, and you could like choose one of them and kind of load the sandbox that way. And then you have the actions that allows you to update that local thing. Yeah, so the point of local is really that there's two like use cases for local. It's like you just have an example you want to show, and then you can allow people to manipulate that example, but there's no persistence, like nothing happens on the actions, right? You're just passing in some initial files and people can like play with it. But yeah, if you refresh, it stays the same. Or you can choose like to add like a template property to that sandbox. And then it's going to actually fire the fork action whenever a user tries to save some files or something. And then you can choose what you want to do. Do you want to fork this at CodeSandbox? Well, that's the thing. It's like if it's a local template and you fork, you don't really. Yeah. So the thing is, what do you do on your when you fork local? You want to create a sandbox at CodeSandbox, or you just want to store it in local storage, or do you have your own persistence where you want to create it? But you might also be in a scenario where you kind of you loaded like an external sandbox. That's the thing I'm kind of missing here. It's like you have this external sandbox, but what is it? Like, what does it actually need to return? Because here you have like active file and visible files. Like it stops making sense to have active file and visible files. When we talk about persistence, it only makes sense when you have like a predictable, like example kind of thing. I don't like the term local and external. I don't think it describes that well what it really is. It's really about persistence. Is it persisted or is it not persisted? Because if it's not persisted, it makes sense to configure active file and visible files. You can still be local and persisted, right? You might use local storage or something. So it's kind of, what's like the term you use? What's like the term you use? Let's see. What term would you use for data? I guess data that is not persisted. Like I have this concept of a sandbox, and you can run a sandbox locally by giving it the files statically defined and play around with it. But you can also load a persisted sandbox. What would you? But that persistence might be like local storage. So I do not want to call it local versus external. What terms would you use? Yeah, this like I might be like this is the kind of engineer I am. I am not that, even though I can adopt like a hacker mentality, it's not like where I do my it's not that intuitive to me. What's intuitive to me is like thinking deep and hard on expressing what things really are, especially when you want to build something that has found market fit, right? Sandpack has found its market fit, and we're going to make some big changes to it. So I really want it to be, yeah, ephemeral is, oh, in memory. That's an interesting one. Oh, stateless scratch saved. Yeah, but it really is ephemeral. Live only or for the duration. Yeah, ephemeral, persistent. Yeah, we could call it like in memory persisted as well, but I like this. Okay, let's call it ephemeral. Or is persisted. Because if it is ephemeral, it makes sense to define all these things, but it does not make sense when it's persisted because you don't know what it is yet, the state of it. Okay, so let's run with that. Yeah, let's rename this to yeah, let's call it ephemeral. Did I ephemeral rename ephemeral? Okay, so now we can check what kind of sandbox we get and choose to choose what we want to do with it. And it gives us the environment that we're going to load when it's ephemeral. This makes sense to me now. And then we have persistent, which is like, it requires the actions and evaluating the actions or the return type or the returned result from the actions. Okay, so I need some time to actually get back into things here. So now we have this SAM. And here we have environment options, theme, init mode. All of this stuff makes sense. But we don't have the actions. So the question is, if you pass in a sandbox here that is persisted, you have to define the actions. Or it won't even load. But if you pass in an ephemeral sandbox, you don't actually need to define the actions, except if you choose a template. It's almost like these are two different providers. Like you can have an ephemeral provider where you could have, which didn't define those actions. I just wonder if we should have some type help on this. Should we have some type help on this? Thinking. So if we were gonna have some typing on this, we would check and see the sandbox. If it's like a persisted sandbox, we would require you. But the point is, you don't necessarily know. Well, I guess you do. You do know that. Okay, so we can check the sandbox type, and if it's persisted, you have to define all the actions. But if it's ephemeral, you only have to define them. Okay, I think we can make that happen. So first of all, we need extend sandbox, and let's call it S, and then T extends Boolean. So we're gonna introduce, you know what? I really dislike interfaces. And I hate ESLint. Sorry about that. And then we're gonna have template, which is gonna be T, but it's gonna default to false. Does that make sense? It's not required now, is it? Like if I do, or does it have to be optional? Or can I do undefined? I think I have to do this. What the hell are you? Oh, they can still be an interface, sorry. Anyway, so what we're gonna do with the actions is that we're gonna say if S type equals, extends ephemeral. Do we have and here? I haven't done this. No, we don't have. No, you have to kind of nest it. So if extends ephemeral, like we don't really need to do the template thing yet. Let's just do the if it's ephemeral, you don't need actions. Never, I guess. Or you need to have the sandbox actions. And the sandbox actions should be, currently the only thing we really need is get sandbox. So I guess what we want to pass in here is the actual sandbox. So let's pass it S. And then what that needs to return is something that we need to figure out. Yeah, because this is also a thing. Like, yeah, if it's like an external sandbox that this is tricky. Because if it is a sandbox that's a VM, it doesn't have any files or anything. So I think we have to return two types of sandboxes. Yeah, we have to have an explicit type here. But then if we have that explicit type, we don't need start sandbox. But what I'm wondering is, if you were to implement your own like playground and you jump to a VM URL, yeah, but then again, you would also kind of start the sandbox. Yeah. No, let's try with get sandbox first, and then we need to export the actual export type. So what would this have to be? So either we return a sandbox that basically just have, it basically has this stuff, like files, external resources, dependencies. Well, except if it's static. That's another thing. Like even static and bundler sandboxes are different because static sandboxes doesn't have external resources. Sorry, it doesn't have dependencies. But they technically do in the database. Yeah, but let's not, we're not going to be dictated by the CodeSandbox persistence here, because that's been like over many years been kind of layered on top. It doesn't really reflect the different kinds of sandboxes you can have in the sense of like static versus bundling sandboxes. So I think we should, what I'm wondering is if this should actually be the type. But then it shouldn't be called ephemeral. And it's not enough just saying bundler environment. You also have to say what kind of, I think it's called template inside the bundler. Like, because it has different modes, the bundler, depending on you want to do React or Vue or whatever. So that's also something that it needs to have. How are we gonna solve this? But it does feel like we really have to persist all of these things. These are the things that needs to be, except for, okay, so let's move this up here. So you kind of have, okay, these things and environment. And I guess this would have to be template. Let's just call it JavaScript for now. I'm not sure what it's actually called, but this could be like React or whatever. So this needs to be persisted. If it's a type bundler, if the environment is bundler, okay, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I know what we're gonna do. So, nice. Okay, I know what we're gonna do. So we have interface, we have static sandbox. Yes, I know what we're gonna do. So this is a static sandbox. It has environment static. Oh. And then we're gonna have a bundler sandbox. And that's gonna have these things. And then we're gonna have an ephemeral sandbox where you can have active file and visible files, but we also have bundler sandbox or static sandbox. That's it. And then we don't have this thing. So we have two types of sandboxes. We have ephemeral. And the thing is, like, refactoring this is like 10 times as hard as defining something new. Because you have all these biases from how it's working now. So I think, yeah, we're not going to call this external. We're going to call it persisted sandbox. Cool. Okay, great. Because what we can do now is that we can say that the return type here is going to be it's going to, what do we call it? Bundler sandbox or a static sandbox, or it's going to be a VM sandbox, or like it's really a VM session. But we can call it a sandbox. The question is, should we call it a VM sandbox? Yeah, let's just call it a VM sandbox. And that VM... Oh, wait a minute. This should be called bundler environment sandbox, static environment sandbox. Yes, and then we have VM sandbox or VM environment sandbox. So if we were to define that, this doesn't quite make sense yet. So if we have an ephemeral sandbox, we have an environment of the bundler, or it's static, which we can use. Yeah, no, I don't think we should call them. Let's just call them static rename bundler sandbox, and then we're going to call this sandbox instead. And then we have VM sandbox. Yeah, but the weird thing is now ephemeral sandbox is like, oh, fuck. That's also sandbox, but it's like a maybe that's environment, ephemeral environment and persisted environment. Or wait a minute, do we even need to say type? Yeah. No, this doesn't make sense. Damn it. Interface static sandbox. So it's this thing, like we have this parent relationship, and then we have VM sandbox. What? So VM sandbox like has a session. So what are we actually passing in here? Are we passing in the sandbox, or we're not really passing in the sandbox? We're like passing in. It's almost like we should have type here. Like it's we're providing. It's part of the provider. And then if you have type ephemeral, then you'll also have active file, or you can define active file and visible files. But then sandbox is like one of these things. Yeah, we could even have those as props. No, we shouldn't, because that's persisted. But it's interesting, like even if you start out with like an ephemeral one, you might move into a persisted sandbox by forking it. So I don't think we should have these things. This should be inside the sandbox, because you want to have like this seamless continuation of forking from an ephemeral sandbox to a persisted sandbox. So the only thing that happens internally in the provider, like you might change the URL and stuff, but it's still the same page, and it's the same provider. It's the same instance of Sandpack. It's just internally we changed out the sandbox. That's how it needs to work. So that when you have these hooks, you can look at that sandbox and you can look to see if is it ephemeral, or is it like persisted now, or whatever. So that's really important. But I'm trying to. It's almost like it's kind of like data or something. But maybe we can rather call this a type, and then we say this equals that stuff, and bundler sandbox or static sandbox. I'm just like, we're calling this bundler sandbox and this ephemeral sandbox as if they are equal, but they aren't. This is a parent of this one. But maybe that's fine. Maybe that is fine. Okay, let's just say that's fine for now. And then we have a persisted sandbox. We're kind of the child of a persisted sandbox. Yeah, because this is interesting. So with a persisted sandbox, you can either have, you can still be a bundler sandbox or a static sandbox. But you're not getting it as part of. How are we gonna do this? But now you just have a sandbox ID. You don't really have access to any files or anything. So a VM sandbox would be, it would really be like a session. It doesn't have any files or external, nothing like this. It really just has the session details. Do we have like session data here? Okay, we're just gonna type it like that for now. So when you try to get a sandbox, it's gonna return. Okay, so it's always gonna return an environment. So we are able to now say, when you get a sandbox, we can look at the environment and we can see if it's a bundler, we're gonna fire it up as a bundler. We know that we have the files and everything, static, same, VM sandbox. That's just gonna give us a session. So now we're also able to, when we get the sandbox from the server can check, is it a V2 sandbox, start the sandbox, return the session, and then it will connect. Yeah, that makes sense to me. But I would love to kind of name these things better. Because it's more like data. But this is a session. It's not like data. And it's not necessarily persisted, right? It's just some options. Yeah, this is so hard to design. But I think we're gonna go with this first, and then what the hell are you complaining about now? Oh yeah, it's because of the, I guess, internal provide. Yeah, I'm not sure if we actually use this. Let's just put that in there for now. Yeah, so this is gonna at least have a token. I can't quite remember the exact data there. Okay. So now we have what we need, I think. Is this even, okay, this is Sandpack React. Can I even build it now? No. What is this? Sandpack Sandbox provider. Oh, is it this thing? Wait. What's this? Is this old? Sandpack environment. This is the thing. What have I done? I can't remember this stuff. What is Sandpack environment? Load environment. Sandbox is prop sandbox. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. So now we actually have ephemeral. So we need to figure out, this is actually where we load up the whole thing, the environment. So we need to, how are we going to do this? Well, let's just create some more checks here. So if sandbox.type equals ephemeral, because that's all we have currently. Then we're going to do this again. Yeah, now it's happy. Oh, what did I do? There we go. Okay, cool. But what is this thing? Sandpack sandbox content. Do we really have? But this is like Sandpack internal options. And this is old stuff. Do I even use this? Or is it just import use Sandpack sandbox options? Oh. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the actual. Okay, sorry. So this isn't. This is actually Sandpack sandbox Yeah, sorry. I'm remembering now. So we have two different providers. We have state, and then we should have like options. We have environment, and then we should have. So what is this actually being used for? I guess that's what I'm wondering. So now it's being used as options. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so this is the actual sandbox property provider. Yeah, sorry. So this is actually going to be sandbox then. Sandbox. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try building it again. Presets, Sandpack provider props. Oh my god. Use files. No. We don't really have this stuff now, but okay. Let's just add that. Ah, is this gonna error more now? Use app state. Use app state. Is that some, where's this from? Yeah, no, we're not using that. Sandpack state context. Yeah, so now we have to. My work is done. You know what? I can. You know, one thing I'm reflecting a lot on is when I was in paternity leave with our second child. I kind of missed the beat on the first on our first, because I was like heavily into open source and I was doing way too much coding. But with our second child, I put away my computer. I didn't use my computer at all during paternity leave, and I've never been more happy. Like felt more content. It's like not a happy feeling. It's just being relaxed, content, present. So yeah, I can't wait until I'm done with this stuff. Uh, but at the same time, I'm also reflecting back on those months. It was like 2-3 months or something. I'm also thinking about like other, like life is not about just being content, right? You want to be challenged, you want to get stuck, you want to get frustrated, or you like, or you won't feel that you learn, or you won't feel that you succeed in anything. But there are definitely more. Uh, I think there are better challenges than coding, especially now. I'm happy that like AI is just taking over the coding stuff so that we can rather think about the problems we want to solve and how to solve them, because that's enough. Like the actual writing of code, that's like why would you want to use a I was about to say analog screwdriver when you can use like an electric like screwing machine thing? Like why? Mm. Anyways, so okay, so we have active file, and this can only be if options type equals ephemeral. That's the only type we can actually have an active file. Okay, so this is starting to make more sense. Like having this clear separation of ephemeral and why is style not there? Didn't I have style there? Oh, interesting. But yeah, like I think it was much more fun to solve things with code back in the day when things weren't so complex. Like that, I'm not to say that it wasn't complex, but it was when it was more constrained. That's what I mean to say. So when I read books like Masters of Doom, um, like id Software back in the day, and like Nintendo, like working on these like old consoles. Like it was an exceptionally constrained environment. And that's where when programming is most fun. It's when you apply very, very strong constraints, trying to solve a problem. It's like a riddle. Um, it's like you really have to figure out how to solve something. But it's still within like the mind space is very, very narrow. Like you don't have a billion tools and like a billion ways to solve the problem. You have a very limited set of tools and you have a very narrow problem to solve. Like there is probably only one way to solve it, kind of thing. You just have to find it. That's what and that reflects the whole fucking generation I'm in. Or I guess I'm kind of partly in it. And it's just this feeling of overwhelmingness. Like everything is so fucking overwhelming. Like just a generation ago, like when you woke up, you wouldn't get any news unless you actually subscribed to a newspaper. You walked outside to your mailbox and you picked up the paper and you sat down and started reading, right? But now it's like you wake up, you pick up your phone, and you have 50 notifications. It's just insane. And it's the same with coding. It's like there's a million languages that can solve the thing you're trying to solve. It's just overwhelming. I want to live a more constrained life. I think that's healthy for everyone. But it can't be artificial either. That's the thing. That's like you have this phone, right? And you can say, yeah, just don't have a smartphone. But I try that, but I can't do it because I need my bank is on my phone. Uh, all the like messages stuff with kindergarten and school, everything's on the phone and has fucking notifications. So I can't just use a plain old phone either. So you're kind of forced into this like overwhelming life. Wow, this got this got deep. Uh, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna look back at this generation as like when like even though statistically we're way better off now than we've ever been, I still kind of look back at like a different decade or the other decades as like more worthwhile. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people always felt like this. It's all relative. Um, what the hell were we doing? Oh, we had the style thing. Why did I remove that? Yeah, exactly. That's a beautiful way of like putting life into a piece of code. That's definitely how life feels like. It's color dot shade. And it's not even like in JavaScript you have triple. Like even that says a lot about you don't have like this has been my beef with JavaScript for a long time. Is that it has like multiple ways of doing the same thing. And it's like you don't even only have double equals, you have triple equals, which is like strict equality, while double equals is coercion. Wow, I can't even pronounce that. Coercion? Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. But yeah, I want more strict equality in my life. That's another way to put it. Um, Okay, we built the thing. Nice. So what we should be able to do now in our where is it? Our dashboard. We should now be able to. Okay, so this is like completely wrong now. Now it's type. What? Wait. Oh. What's this? Sandpack provider. Sandbox. Wait a minute. What happened here? Why don't I have any types for this? Any? Oh, sorry. 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 Where's the Sandpack provider? Where are you, Sandpack provider? Oh, yes, sorry, I remember now. I put it here instead. This, of course, needs to have s extend sandbox. S. Boop. There we go. Build. Okay, cool. Let's get back to our dashboard. Let's close all. Let's get back to our dashboard. And now we can say ephemeral, right? And then we have main, we have files. Yeah, we need to set the environment, right? No, oh yeah, sorry. We have template. I'm just gonna put JavaScript here because we're not actually using it. Does it need more? No. Is it complaining about? Oh yeah, so now Wait, didn't I say ephemeral? Oh. Okay. So never doesn't. Where are the types? So we tried to do never here. That doesn't work. Yeah, so we basically have to make this a type and then action and yeah, but now we can't. Oh, how do I fix this? Or I guess I can do undefined here instead. Let's try that. I can't remember if undefined will actually still make it require it to be there. Yeah, I think so. So I have to explicitly say undefined. What else do I have to put in here? What are you complaining about? Oh, yeah. Okay. But is it the same now? No, actions. Fuck. I'm gonna ask the AI. How can I make the actions property optional when the type is ephemeral? I can't remember this. Yeah, but only when it is ephemeral. It should not be optional. It should not be optional if it is not ephemeral. What the fuck is this? Don't accept. I thought it would be never. Okay, I'm gonna just check never again. If it's giving the, because we're getting this other, yeah, property actions is missing. God damn it. Dag nugget. I'm actually not very impressed by 4.1. Like, I'm impressed by it using the GPT app, but not like here. It might be VS Code. So the actions property should be optional, but should only be there when the sandbox type is ephemeral. Can you fix that? Yeah, extends. Oh, so you say, okay. But yeah, that makes sense to me. Accept. Okay, let's build it again. Yeah, cannot be used as a JSX. That's fine. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, it's because of the children. It's just wrong typing. Cool. Okay, let's see if this thing actually works now. So localhost. Yeah. Nice. So it's running, still running after we did all that stuff. And now we're gonna, oh, forgot to remove that thing. Now we're gonna do the fun stuff. So now I think what we're gonna try first is to actually load up okay, I'm gonna create, let's go to CodeSandbox, and I'm gonna create a JavaScript sandbox. Browser, Java, what was it? JavaScript sandbox? Frosty Marco. Hello, JavaScript. Okay, nice. So now we have a sandbox that we can load. And yeah, exactly. Yeah. I tried to do that initially. But I wasn't sure what to like put there. Because if the thing is, this is such an interesting typing issue. Because this makes a lot of sense. Like the actions is only there, as you say. But the thing is, if I did this, then it would actually type so that you could put any property there. And that's also a problem. And if I do actions never, we try that wouldn't work. And if I were to use never here, it would break everything. So the trick here was to actually make actions optional and then never. Because then it's kind of like balancing out this thing, which is horrible. I think there's a better way to do this, but I'm not sure. Cool. But now we have, okay, so let's comment out this thing. So let's try now, type persisted, and sandbox ID is going to be, this is going to be a big moment actually, what we're about to do. It's going to take a little bit of time, but let's see, let's grab the ID there. So we have that in there. So now it should be hassling me about actions, which it does. And then we're gonna call, we're gonna add get sandbox, and then we're gonna return fetch. Where did I put the server? I think it was behind API. I guess sandboxes, and then we can do sandbox. Sandbox ID. And then we're gonna do a then res.json. And that's, I'm just gonna make that the correct type, because this is gonna be the, this is gonna be a bundler sandbox. So it's gonna have this thing. I guess we need to actually, well, no, it's gonna be sandbox. So yeah, let's just keep going. Okay, so now there's two things we need to implement. We need to implement actually calling this action internally. And then we need to actually implement the server side of this. So let's implement, I think the server side is going to be the simplest one. Oh yeah, because we kind of already have it, but we're not going to actually start. Yeah, and we're going to call it sandbox ID. And we're going to, do we actually have SDK sandbox? No, because the SDK doesn't really have, doesn't really have this stuff yet. Yeah, it's interesting. How are we gonna handle that? I guess we just have to make a request ourselves. So sandbox would be, I guess we just fetch here again. I have no idea what how this works. Okay, maybe this is it. We can try. Yeah, let's just see what happens if it's able to grab it. And then we're gonna, based on the response here, we're gonna actually determine, we're going to determine, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the actual response type for this. So let's see. So we kind of have that server running. And then we need to go back into Sandpack React because we're going to go in and do some cool stuff. So this is going to be, I dislike this code, but we're going to, we're just going to kind of get the proof of concept running here. So if it's, oh, this is another problem. No, I don't think it actually is. No, it isn't. So what we're going to do here is, instead of immediately running the environment, we're going to actually fetch, or sorry, we're going to call the actions. So this would be, I guess, what's props here? Oh, that's the sandbox. Okay, so we need, why are we passing options here? Is it because it's so... Are we going to pass actions down here? Okay, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Let's go back to our types. So we have some, let's just call them actions. And we need to pass in the S here. I'm just gonna shove it in here for now. And S extends sandbox. Cool. Interface. Okay, and then we're gonna export these actions. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're just exporting all the types. Okay, so now we have those actions, so we can say here I want to get the actions. So, oh yeah. Does this also need to be... Well, we don't really care about, we can just say sandbox here. We don't care about the specific sandbox. And now we can say props, actions. Now everything's typed and nice. That's, well, not quite. Like, because you might, this is going to be a problem. Because we only have actions. So this sucks. Yeah, I don't like this typing. The problem now is that now we're saying that we always get actions, but we don't. If it's ephemeral, we don't have any actions. And then if we do this, then suddenly this doesn't work. But we know that it should work because it's not ephemeral. So that contract doesn't live here. And that bothers the hell out of me. So it's almost like these actions should just live with, so kind of like here we have, let's just put them next to each other. So here we have like active file, visible files, but here we need to have actions. But then again, we have this template thing that's going to be a requirement to. Oh, this is just so complicated. I don't like this. It's almost like I just want to have. I want to just have default actions. But then we can't throw. Or maybe that's fine. Like, maybe a better approach here is to have actions, but we're going to have default actions that throws. So at least that's a good developer experience in the sense that if you try to load a persisted sandbox and you haven't defined actions, it's going to throw and say that it's not been implemented. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to treat this as kind of like how we do class. Like, I am no fan of class inheritance, but there's something about like when you have not abstract, I guess, but when you have classes and you have like these default methods and you just throw if they're not been properly implemented or not been implemented. Yeah, because it's just going to be, the typing of this is just going to be horrible. So we're going to say actions S, but we're going to make them optional. But what's going to happen here is that if you load a persisted sandbox and you haven't defined the actions, it's going to run these default actions. That's going to throw and tell you that, oh, you didn't actually implement this action, but you need it. That's going to simplify the typing a ton. And still should give. Yeah, let's be pragmatic about this. The thing that kind of bothers me though is, well, I'm still bothered by this because it's also, if you have an ephemeral sandbox, you can fork it into a persisted sandbox. So you need a fork action, but you don't need, well, but if you do that, then you also need all the other actions. Okay. No, we're going to try this. We're going to try this. So actions, blah, blah, blah. And then, sorry, where are you? So we're going to say, okay, so we have actions here, and we're going to make them get sandbox, throw new error, no get sandbox, action implemented, blah, blah. These can be much better, of course. But then for the sandbox provider, sorry, the environment provider, we need to pass in the actions. Yes. Okay. And then here, we'll always have actions. And if it's not implemented, this is going to throw. And then we're going to go in here. So we're grabbing the sandbox, and then we're getting like some sandbox data here. Let's just call it data. And that's something we are going to use to load our environment. So we're actually going to like check here. What kind of environment do we have? Blah, 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 blah. So we're going to get that from the data instead. Not sure what you're complaining about. Oh, is it because of this? Oh, does environment options? Yeah, sorry, we don't have. Let's see, we're missing the. Oh, types DTS. Oh, this is from the actual. We just need to go down into Sandpack environments and actually define the. Let's see, where do we have it? Or type VM and Sandpack VM environment options. Yeah. Where did we put these other ones? Oh, yeah, this has a lot of stuff. VM, Sandpack VM environment options. Like, I don't think this actually this really has anything specific at the moment, but at least we have the type there now. Clients bundler. No, wait, client. Oh, sorry. Bundler. Let's just add the folder. We're gonna play with this shortly, but for now, let's just index ts, export the interface. Let's see. I'm gonna bring that from the VM. And then, so Mark, where, what's your story? What kind of problems you've been trying to solve with what language? And what you're gonna do now? How you're gonna challenge like your itch for solving problems now that you're not gonna code anymore? Let's see. I think that one's fine. We can build that one now, I think. Oh. What's happening with this thing? Ugh. Well, there it is. Oh yeah. Case VM. Yeah, okay, let's create Sandpack VM environment. Hei, jeg streamer. Jo, likeså. Ja. Hello. Let's see. Let's just create the class here. And then I guess constructor takes options. Yeah, that's fine. And then oh, intranet. That's interesting. That's kind of nice though, like from a like product perspective, like writing, as I understand it, you're kind of writing applications from, it's kind of like, so I'm from more of a developer tooling kind of thing, which is also kind of like an intranet in the sense that you're building tools for internal customers, kind of, which is, I find, to often be a much better process than creating products for like end users, because they can be like, you don't share context. It's a very different way of communicating, and it can be very exhausting. Yeah, legacy dev. Yeah, .NET framework. I did a little bit of .NET. Yeah, working with C# on a project. I was a consultant a few years back, and we worked on some C# stuff. I remember how it broke my brain. as I was used to like thinking about programming as like reading line by line, kind of thinking about execution as like line by line. But at least with that project, it was like you could never trust line by line execution because anything could happen anywhere. Like when I'm talking about this multi-thread, of course. And I remember how it broke my brain and like, how can anyone write code in an environment where you can't reason about your code executing safely line by line, and then rather like opting into multi-thread code? Like I know other languages do, and I think C# can also be configured that way. But yeah, anyways, I just remember that being like the thing that really plain English language. Yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed working on the project. And also as I kind of got my head around things, and also it was my moment when I kind of, even though I kind of looked at other languages up to that point and really worked in other languages, so it was kind of my moment where, oh, programming languages is just, they're pretty much the same. Like they're more similar than different kind of thing. So if you learn one language really, really well, it's so much easier to go into another language. And I guess here, like I was deep into TypeScript and then moving to C#, which was a huge ass inspiration for TypeScript in the first place. It was even less of a threshold. But yeah. Why are you complaining now? Oh yes, sorry. We need VM here. Wait, what happened here? Why are you complaining? Oh, of course, it's missing. Let's see. We need to implement a few things. Where are you, VM? Implement Sandpack environment. So we are oh, doesn't it tell me what I'm missing? Oh, sorry. What was the thing? Sandpack environment. So we are missing a few things here. I think we're just gonna copy we're just gonna copy this one. It's not that big. And then we're just gonna Sandpack environment status. We're not gonna have any previews here. Not gonna have this, and this is gonna be VM. We're not gonna have this. We can have, well, we need a Sandpack preview. But we're not gonna have any of this. Yeah, I think like what I've heard, like these streams are not very professional. It's just I've just noticed that I work better, or I enjoy my work more when I do the stream. So it's very raw, and often it can be like super boring because I'm stuck with something. It can be entertaining as well when I get stuck with something because I'm a very emotional programmer. But I've heard of people just like, especially people working like remotely or whatever, just like having someone talk about what they're doing. It's kind of like having like, if you think about music, it's more like lo-fi chill or like cafe music. It's just nice to have in the background kind of thing. Let's see. So I'm gonna I'm gonna say null here, and we're gonna just fake this. Yeah, it can be incredibly emotional. Let's see. Sandpack preview status. Can I like, oh, yeah, this is just, oh yeah, coming soon. Sandpack preview message, coming soon. Let's just do, we're gonna make this. Oh, are you complaining? And then we're gonna just say as unknown as HTML iframe element. That's what we're gonna do. I don't care. Public dispose. Boop. To do. Cool. Oops. No. Why are you complaining? Oh, property fs. Okay. Fs in memory, new in memory file system. Yeah, let's just do that for now, just so we can get this thing built. Cool. So now we have, what were we doing? Was that just to build? Wait a minute. We had a type issue somewhere. Where was that? Was that here? Yeah. Yeah, cool. Now that's working. And then what we're getting here now is, so we should have data.files. Yeah, because now we don't really know what kind of sandbox we're getting back here. So that's what we need to evaluate now before we load the environment. So we're just going to say if data.environment equals, well, not equals bundler, we're just going to throw an error. Only bundler environment is supported. That's the kind of stuff I really love about AI. It's like not having to, just these micro suggestions you get all the time. Okay, so now we have the files and everything. Okay, this is exciting. We're getting closer. So the thing that's probably going to break now is the server code here, I think. But we can take a look at what we actually get here. So fetch JSON. Let's make this async cons result, turn result, console.log result. Is this it? Let's see what happens. Okay, not found is not valid JSON. Yes, so there's something happening. Do we have the server here? Oh, it didn't actually say anything. Wait, what happened here? Oh, that was a post endpoint, sorry. Oh, do we need to then? Yeah, so this is probably gonna, okay, let's see what happens now. I'm actually not sure about this, how we're gonna use the, oh, interesting. Cannot get, why am I not, oh, is it, I think it's maybe because, sorry, I think it's just a vite config, because I'm pointing /API, no, to API. Change origin secure. Yeah. But I should get the request though. Huh. Yeah, though I think with this Vite config, I'm pretty sure that since I do change origin, it's gonna like replace this on this thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But I might be wrong. We're definitely not getting the request. I was pretty sure about this. Sandbox's ID. Okay, let's look at the actual request. What am I actually calling? Yeah, am I messing this up? I was so sure that this would work. Because I'm saying like, okay, but what if I remove this? Oh, change origin is more like change the... No, what does change origin actually mean? Of the host header. Oh. Okay. Yeah, what the fuck? There it is. Okay, sorry. I misunderstood the option. So we're not getting any properties here. We did get an okay though. Why did we get an okay? I'm just gonna check something. Let's see. I'm just gonna look at how do we... I've never used the API keys before. Do we have any documentation on this even? I don't think we have. API key example. Nice. Oh, yeah. So first of all, we have... This should be X API key and no bearer. Let's see. API key. No, wait. This is something else. This wasn't this wasn't CodeSandbox. Oh, the problem is oh, wait a minute. I know what we can do. Let's see. I'm gonna check the code for the SDK. Oh, I have the code here. Static browser, CodeSandbox SDK. How is this using the... Does it have a bearer? Yeah. Authorization bearer. No, it should be this. CSV base URL, get base URL. Oh, API.CodeSandbox. API.CodeSandbox.io. Okay, let's try that. API.CodeSandbox.io. I'm not sure if it's still like V1 and stuff, but I'm actually not sure if we even can get the sandboxes from here. Ugh. Okay, we got something. Wait, not modified. I'm kind of confused by. Maybe there's a api.codesandbox.io. If there is some documentation for this. I don't have anyone to ask. This is kind of sucky. Where are we actually using this? Do we have any URLs? Default template. Oh, of course. We're using OpenAPI here. OpenAPI. JSON. Do we have like sandboxes here? List sandboxes / sandbox. That's weird. Can I do like? Yeah. Oh, it's sandbox. That's weird. It should be sandboxes, right? Okay, let's try that then. Not getting anything. Headers, content type. I am confused. I am definitely confused. Oh, amazing. Look at that. Unauthorized. Interesting. Why am I unauthorized? Okay, I'm just gonna check my token. Just 2 seconds. Oh, does it invert? That's funny. API key is coming from. Oh, it's undefined. Source.n. No, still undefined. How does this? I don't understand how this sourcing works. I have this like echo CSP API key. It's there, but when I run it, oh, was this the issue of the Vite config again? No. Why is it undefined? I have process.n CSP API key. Oh, CSP API key token. Let's see. Okay, now we have it. Let's clear that. Clear that. Let's get back to it. Boop. Okay. So let's try again. Unauthorized invalid token. Why is it saying that? What was the ID? Invalid token. That sucks. Okay, I'm messing around with tokens. I have to always mess up doing that. So this is the V1 CDN. Oh, I think I deleted that one. Okay. I'm just gonna add the token again. Create test SDK. Do I have like a playground thing? No. Let's see. Playground, sandbox creation, sandbox read, sandbox edit, VM manage, blah, 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 blah. And then copy that, shove it in there, boop. And I guess I need to kind of do the source thing again. I'm just gonna try that. Let's see now. No, still unauthorized. Tag nugget. API key. So this was a new one, right? Playground. Yeah, when I run it. Oh, but is it? Oh, is it? Oh, I think I include the actual. Do I need to parse it again? I think maybe I have to actually parse it again. JSON.parse. Yeah, that's it. I have to actually parse it. Okay. Then I'm just gonna check to see if I. Yeah, now we have it. Great. Okay, Claire, dev. Let's get back to it. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of silly. I'm using Vite node to run the server, and it has its own like thing with it reads the same Vite config as the client, and there's no process there. Okay, but now we have an actual. Where are all the files? No. Is this a different? Don't we actually get? Oh my god! I don't think this will work. We're not getting the actual files. So this just gives a sandbox. Like this wasn't designed for tokens. This was designed for something else. Tokens. Yeah. Yeah, sessions. Okay, I'm not sure if we're actually not able to. But I can actually hack this. Let's see. So I can create a token, like because I work. I can create a token that I can actually use to use the actual API. That just gives me access to everything, and I think we're gonna do that because this is a proof of concept. So, but where am I gonna? Okay, sorry. Let's see if I can grab that token. It's called login CLI or something. No, CLI login. There we have it. But please paste the following code in the CLI. And I need to, how does this work? I get this token, and how did I actually retrieve the, I have to look at the CLI then. There's supposed to be a CLI thing here. Commands, utils. No. No, this is probably using the SDK now. How can I find this? It's such a long time since I did this. Maybe we even deprecated these old things. Because there's like an endpoint where I actually get that exchanges this token. Dagnagit. Let's see if I can find it. CodeSandbox client. So that would be yeah, I guess we have app source app. Where do we have the router here? I can't remember. Pages. So we have dev auth. Did this have the URL for the thing? Yeah. auth/verify auth code. Look at me remembering things. CodeSandbox API v1 auth verify token. There we have a token. Cool. And then let's remove that, and we're going to shove that as well into, this is the SDK, into N. We're going to call it CSB global key. Global API key. And then we're going to source that thing. And then let's just see if we global API key. Yeah, we have that. And then when we run the server, fetch. And then I have to do the same with that one. Global API key. Global API key. Const global API key is then JSON parts process CSP global API key. And then if I run the server, it fails because unexpected token. CSP global API key. Oh, it's supposed to be called CSP global API key. Oh, it is CSP global API key. Why are you complaining? Beat config. CSP global API key, CSP global API key, CSP global API key. What? Huh? $21. Why is this failing and this working? It's the same thing. Ugh, for fuck's sake. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? And looking at it here, CSP global API key, it's here. Why is it undefined? The only reason it can be undefined is because of this. CSP global API key. This stuff pisses me off. Process end global API key. For fuck's sake. Clear, for fuck's sake. Why is there only one thing there? I just added it. Why is it undefined? Process and I don't understand this. Does it need to be export or like I don't understand this stuff. Oh, there we go. Actually has to be export. That's weird to me. Me not understanding how things work. Oh, what did I do? Oh. I'm just really bad at everything that has to do with like environments. I'm pretty bad at it. Okay, so now we have a global API key. So now we should be able to, let's see, I think we're fine now. Let's get back to it. I think we should be able to say CodeSandbox IO API v1 sandboxes sandbox ID. And then we're going to put in the global API key instead. And then we're going to restart. And then let's see what happens. Oh, that's something else. Where's our... Look at that. And we got our data. Amazing. And now we have like modules and everything. NPM dependencies. We got all the things. Though, why do we have React there? That's weird. That wasn't the thing we loaded. Why does it say? Oh, because it has package JSON, probably. Interesting. Okay. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna try to run it. That's what we're gonna do. But to run it, we need to move these modules and directories into something that we can use. So we basically need, maybe we can grab some code from somewhere. Let's see, Sandpack environment. So this thing, okay, so what we need to do, we're actually going to implement this in, because this errors because of the data. Like it's just only bundler environment is supported. Yeah, and that's because of the return type. That it has this like .data thing and all this. So we're gonna fix that here. So data will be, well, let's just grab data. Oh my God, there's actually quite a bit of work here. Worries me a little bit. So we have data here, and then now we need to kind of transform this into something that we can actually return, because what we want to create here is an actual sandbox. Yeah, so sandbox will be, this is going to be an actual sandbox, not from SDK. This is actually going to come from, interesting. So this will be Sandpack React. Yeah, defined but never used. Sandbox equals type is ephemeral. Environment is bundler. So what's interesting about this is that we have, I think it's like there's a template here. Yeah, the template is parcel. So there's a bunch of templates there that's gonna like, well, I guess it's like, yeah, the template is gonna be the actual, so template is data.template. And I think it's like static. So data template equals static. Then we're going to use the static environment, or we're going to use the bundler. And then the template is just going to be the template. And was it called JavaScript? No, it was actually called parcel. So we're going to pass in parcel instead. Or type it as, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, let's just fix that actually. Let's see, types. What was it? JavaScript. So this would be parcel. Where were we? Here. Okay, so, and then we need, why aren't you giving me any help here? Is missing the following. Yeah, I know you're missing it, but why isn't, Why am I not getting any help? why isn't it giving me type help? It says it's wrong here. This is weird to me. Anyways, it should have, I think maybe it's called entry here. Yeah. Main is data.entry. And then files. This is interesting. Okay, so we need to convert all these modules. And I can't remember exactly what does these files look like. Yeah. Oh, Sandpack. Okay, so it's just going to have code. And I believe that's actually how they are stored here as well. Yeah, but then it has like directory short ID. We need to build up the path of each. So we need to go through data modules. We need to reduce them. It's so not good to call it a module, but and then we need to say get module path, giving it a module. And then that's going to be code module.code, and then we return this, and then we need to define this get module path, and that's going to take a module, and that module has a directory short ID, maybe. Yeah, and we're kind of gonna build up the, let's see. Get module path. So it's gonna have a title, module or directory. So it doesn't matter. Like both of them have a title. Let's see, directories. They also have a title and a short ID, and potentially a directory short ID, which is the parent. How are we gonna do this? So we're gonna build up a string, but it's gonna be like return module or directory dot title concat, and then we're gonna, let's see, no, we're gonna, sorry, how are we gonna do this? Module or directory dot directory short ID. If we have that, we're gonna go and find it. Parent there equals data dot directories find, yeah, short ID dot ID equals. Okay, so this is the parent directory. So if it has a parent directory, we're gonna get module path, and then we're just gonna concat. No, how do I do this recursively? I'm confused. How do I do this recursively? So if I do get module path, I want to concat. Yeah, or I'm just going to return the thing. No, I need to return. Yeah. I think so. Why are you complaining so much? Oh. I think this is how I would do it. And then we can just join it on slash. And then I think we're fine. Okay, let's see what actually jumps out of this thing. Oh. Oh. Look at that. Files. But it should be in... Oh, short ID. There we go. Okay, now it didn't load, but it's correct. Interesting that we have tasks here, but I think it's because of the main. Oh, why does it say index.js? It's MJS. How do we check the console.log JSON stringify data null to, just so that we can kind of see the whole thing. And it was kind of weird that it actually ran. Oh, this is a lot of stuff. Let's see. So we have npm stuff. We have directories. So entry is source index.js, but that's not true. I guess we have a bunch of logic that kind of tries to find. Yeah, I think we actually have logic that tries to find the main file. So where are we going to go with this? I'm going to first try to like just set the entry to be, just to see if that fixes it. Index.mjs, because then at least we can't trust that thing. Oh, interesting. So that didn't help. So then I guess environment bundler template is parcel. Okay, maybe it's... yeah, this is just logic within the... Yeah, but we kind of want to have... Yeah, whatever. But we're loading the files and everything. This is kind of cool. So I guess this is an opportunity for us to... well, first of all, does it even matter to have an entry? I wonder how this actually works. But this is cool. Like, this is the first time we loaded a sandbox from CodeSandbox in Sandpack. So that's a big deal. Wasn't like super amazing, but it worked, kind of. Actually seeing the thing is going to be the most interesting thing, I think. Okay, so we're going to do data. We're going to do entry here. And then we're going to look inside the bundler. How does it actually work? So I wonder why it kind of... Why did it work when we had all the files? I guess it kind of expects... Like all this template stuff is really, really messy. There's a lot of history there. And I wonder if there's like some kind of... So the thing is, the bundler changes its behavior based on the template we give it. But I have no idea. Okay, we're going to look at something. Let's see. This is CodeSandbox client. Let's go to CodeSandbox. CodeSandbox applications. Hey, what happened there? Oh. What? There we go. We have something called Picture Client, and Picture Client has a lot of this logic, I think. So it does get sandbox, this Sandpack. What's this .sandpack? Is that the Sandpack client? What is Sandpack? Clients port Sandpack. That's interesting. Oh, here we go. Sandpack. Template, npm, entry. Okay. So here, edit evaluation strategy. Ooh. Oh. Interesting. Original static template from CSV client, which contains the preview protocol, and it's hosted on CSV domain for sharing purposes. Oh, that's interesting. So we're actually not going to run the static environment. Okay, so there's some things to learn from this. It's kind of funny because this is really the whole... We've kind of done this before. But what I don't understand is that this sandbox, that token wasn't that dangerous. What I don't understand is that this is working and we're using the same thing. So it says this sandbox entry. Get options, mount, update. module view legacy. Oh my god. This kind of sucks. Why doesn't it work? Oops. I find that to be weird. Oh, it's still in a loading state. Wait, is it just... No, there isn't any... Oh, look at this. That's the thing. Oh, we're not adding the slash on it? Oh, okay. Sorry. That was my bad. So I guess this should be slash plus. Wait. Oh, sorry. Slash plus. Reading files. Okay. Okay, we're messing up the... Let's see. Let's look at the network. What are we actually returning here? Oh, yeah. So we're slash... Oh, now it's double slash. But if I don't have it, then it's also wrong, right? Source. No, these are right. So what? Why is it messing up the console? Uncaught in-memory file. Oh, maybe there's something wrong with the in-memory file system. Come on. Is it because it has a slash in the beginning? No, that it must be something with the... Normalize. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's look at in-memory file system then. Sandpack React, this blah 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 common. No, wait, this is in sorry, this is in the environment. Where do we have it? In-memory file system. So it's where was the problem? Can you show me the actual code? Ah, come on. So it's read file. And the reason read file was wrong is because it was just, it's not adding them correctly. Normalize path. What the hell does normalize? It starts with a slash, with leading slash. Yeah, but I'm confused. Read file. That's what it's trying to do, right? Read file. Yeah. It reads the file. The path is like... Can I go in here? Sorry. Read file. What's the actual path? Package JSON, fine. How do I play forward? Path is lint. Oh, it's already wrong here. Look at me being a awesome. So read file but But the data we got back didn't have that weird thing. So what's calling read file? I'm confused. What's calling read file? Ugh. Read all files. Oh, I guess it's this thing. Oh, plus entry name. Okay, here it happens. Okay, read all files. Where's that happening? That's in... Where is that happening? Bundler preview. Read all files. Oh, from utils. So this is where it's happening. Is this where we have normalized path? Yeah, okay. Read all files. No, this is wrong. So directory path. Full path. Like, I don't know. Does this start with a slash? And if it does, I don't like this. It's almost like we're trying to... I wish we had... And I can't use join here for some reason. I can run that in the... A normalized path, what does it actually do? Yeah, but the thing is here... Okay. Yeah, but what's the problem? The problem here is if it's the root directory, then it won't work. So it's only like... I hate this. Oh, look at that. There we go. Weird. Thanks, Adam. I really dislike this kind of logic. Makes me upset. Is this in the environment? Oh, interesting. Well, it loaded. Oh, app. Huh? It does not seem to be running. Why is this different? We're loading the same bundler. And we're passing in... Well, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not passing in the template. Okay, let's see what we're actually passing in and what it actually needs. So this thing has Where's the actual? Yeah, this is all the state stuff. Where's the options? Okay, so it has a shit ton of Sandpack bundler environment options. Yeah, it has entry. Okay, let's look at this one, and then we're also going to look at where we run the environment. So we are just saying data environment and then environment options. But there's also other things here that we need to pass in. So that would be entry would be data.main. Okay, so let's pass in a few of these things. Does it take like a template or something? Yeah, and it takes a template. Yeah, here we go. Template will be data.template. This is certainly going to help. Yeah, as any, whatever. Is there anything else that's like very specific to what we're trying to do? No. Okay. So this is Sandpack React, so I have to go and build it here. No. I am confused by this. Tag nugget. I thought this was going to work. Remain. We're passing in the template. Is there anything else we're missing? It's just so much stuff here. But I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, no idea. I have no idea where to even start here. But the thing that bothers me is that it actually works here. And what are we doing here? Are we just passing in? Where is it like starting the Sandpack instance? Here it creates the files, package JSON. Yeah. Here we go. This is the thing. It's just files. Okay, I guess it's maybe it's dependencies that it needs. Okay. Files, package JSON. Okay, we're just gonna try this thing. Where are the files? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, data files. Yeah, sorry. Data.files. Yeah, whatever. I wonder what this is. Why we're keeping the previous package JSON. But it's just passing in the dependencies. Okay. Because I think it's looking at the package JSON and it sees that it's a parcel thing, and then it does a thing. There's so much magic to this. It's insane. But that's the thing, is like, one thing I've learned about like Evis, one of the founders of CodeSandbox, and taking on projects like Sandpack and the browser bundler, is like, it's never gonna be correct. It's one of those things that's like, it's hacking. It's literally hacking, right? So it's never gonna be like this thing that kind of, I'm not sure how to explain it, but the experience is amazing. And a lot of things that are amazing experiences, they are like messy on the inside. Let's see, dependencies. Dependencies, parse out dependencies. Okay, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Could not parse package JSON. JSON. Why are you complaining? Whatever. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Let's see if it works now. So I think I have a meeting. Let's see. When is that meeting? I think it's soon. Oh, it's at 12. Yeah, and I need some food before that. Okay, we have to stop shortly, but let's see if we can actually get, that would be nice to kind of, if we could actually get it running. We can't. Damn it. Let's see what it actually passes in here. Ugh. Where's the, there's the UG. Oh, dependencies is empty. Oh, I think, I vaguely remember something about this. So depths. Does it only take dependencies? No, it takes dev dependencies as well. Okay, so we're gonna try something. So we're gonna do package JSON. We're gonna change this. We're gonna do JSON parse. And then we're just gonna say package JSON dependencies, and then dev dependencies. It's gonna be package JSON dev dependencies. Because I think it relies on the dependencies to evaluate like how it's gonna actually run the bundler. I think. God dag nugget. Yeah, I have no idea. And it is dev dependencies, yeah, and dependencies. That sucks. I have absolutely no idea why it doesn't work. Yeah, parcel is one of them. And that's what we're passing in, right? Yeah. And we have, it's running the thing. Why is it working here and not? Ah, this sucks. So there's something we're passing in here. Oh. There's something we're passing in. This client to update Sandbox. Maybe we can find something in the update Sandbox. Runtime, update Sandbox. It's grabbing all the files, package.json. Oh yeah, maybe we should look at this thing. So this is passing. Oh, get template. Yeah, here is all the stuff that's like evaluating. Is initialization compile? So this dispatch is like, it's different. I guess this is really the trickiest part, because where is it actually compiling? Here it has all the things. Yeah, so we should really be looking at this. Is it actually passing in? Where's template here? Okay, we're gonna look at this thing. Params, whatever, or payload. Console.log payload. Whatever. It would be so nice if this actually ran before I grab lunch. Here's the payload. So it says compile entries. This, we have the dev dependencies. We have the modules. We have the correct template. It passes in everything. I don't understand why this is different. And this is also like, it's always passing in the entry, right? It's not like it's get files, add package JSON if needed. Yeah, but that's not needed, right? Oh, I could. Oh my God, this is just. Normalize modules. Path. Oh, this is interesting. Normalize module. No, because it's passing in the well, we don't know if it's actually passing in the template here though. Maybe it doesn't do that. Well, no, we do know that, I think. Or we can figure it out at least. So this is port client. Where does it get its options? So it gets, oh, it gets Sandpack in there. Okay. How does this work? I actually implement most of this. Where do we get the create current client? Where did it actually load the thing? Where's the fucking sandbox? Picture browser client. I can't remember how it works. Sandbox URL. Oh, it actually gets the sandbox. Okay. So here's sandbox ID. And then it passes the browser, passes the sandbox to browser FS client. Where's the port? This.sandpack. New Sandpack. Okay. So it creates a new Sandpack where it passes in the actual sandbox. The big question for me is that, oh, and then update sandbox. And then the compile thing. Where did that happen? Oh, get options. Yeah, look at this. It doesn't seem to be passing in. Yeah. Get options. It doesn't seem to be passing in. Yeah. It does not seem to be passing in the entry or anything. Not even the template. So it rather uses the package JSON evaluation thing. Okay. Should we try that? And this is Sandpack React again. But we don't have that logic, the get, but we can add that. Let's see what happens. So this doesn't work. But if we were to bring in that get template, and normalize, move this to common format. But that doesn't matter, does it? Like get, where does get template come from? Why can't I? Oh, we do have get template. Okay. But then I'm confused again. Ember, Gatsby, node, reason, parcel. Yeah, no, this is just a template. I don't understand why it doesn't run. It really sucks. Ah, I wish I had this thing running. Ah, this sucks. Yeah, absolutely. I just have absolutely no idea. I need help. Um, yeah. Ah, this really sucks. But has file resolver? No, I need help with this one. Damn it. But it's so weird. It worked when it didn't have the folder structure. So it's almost like, yeah, no, absolutely no idea. But it works here. What does this do that the other one doesn't do? Modules. Where the hell do I go from here? Well, we do have log level. I guess I could log a bunch more. Yeah, I wish I had the actual payload going into this thing. But we don't. We don't. Like if I could just window on message. Well, we can try one thing. On message equal console.log. I try to change something here. Message event. Data. Look at me. Type compile. So what's different here? First of all, it actually has a bundler URL. I didn't have that. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna try to add that. Clear console on first compile, true. CodeSandbox, true. Okay, let's take a picture of. What the hell? Let's take a picture of this and let's evaluate our one, the one we have. So we have CodeSandbox, true, Clear console, true. We don't have the bundler URL though. That's probably it. Custom npm registries. Oh, there's actually something there. Yeah, but that's probably not it. Modules, fine. Okay, we're just gonna try adding the bundler URL. Let's see. So let's say bundler URL is actually HTTPS, and then it's the plus data ID plus .csp.app. Let's see what happens now. This is Sandpack, yes. Wait, did it complain about it? Oh yeah. Is it just a warning? I think it's just a warning. Wait, what happened now? Oh, undefined. Wait, doesn't the data have an ID? Okay, I guess we can say sandbox. Wait. Why don't, Oh, it's messed up again. Sandbox ID. Okay, that's also interesting. Payload, bundler URL. Oh, why does that fail? But it's the same. And sandbox ID. Maybe I have to pass in the sandbox ID as well. Well, it didn't fail. It just didn't load. I'm wondering if this. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, so it loads the actual thing, but I don't think. Oh, entries undefined. Okay, let's try remove the entry and the template and everything. Okay, final try. I need to eat some food. Yeah, but now I feel like, is this because we're not on CodeSandbox.io? Okay, I have to talk to Evis about this. Maybe this actually doesn't work, like in the sense that we're loading these previews. I'm gonna try one more thing. Because what is the bundler URL if... It would help if I actually understood. Okay, that's interesting. What is the bundler URL here? iframe. Oh, there is no. Oh, okay. Oh, but I think maybe this is the issue. It's like we have to load up the actual bundler URL. But the thing is, how do we, can we actually send messages? I think we only trust CodeSandbox.io. Okay, I need to ask about that. Okay, but we kind of got there. Yeah, we kind of got there. But that must be it. It's just because it's running on CodeSandbox.io. And we're not... Yeah, but why are we not getting... Sorry, I can't step away from this for some reason. Listen, iframe protocol, channel listen. No. Okay, we're gonna stop there. I have to do other stuff today, but I'm gonna continue tomorrow morning. And then we're gonna see, I'm gonna have some answers because I'm actually gonna have a session about everything later today. So I'm gonna ask some questions about how this is actually supposed to work. And then I think we should be good. Yeah, I think so. That would be fun because then we're kind of, we have loaded that sandbox and then we can move on to load the VM. And when we got that running, yeah, it's more just iterating, removing options that doesn't make sense and so on and so on. So that's going to be nice to get to that spot. And then also implement actions for like persisting changes on a persisted sandbox. We could even try like implementing local storage and stuff. That's kind of cool. Okay, but bye for now. And then hopefully I'll have some answers tomorrow morning. Bye.